and sitting in the office.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of your favorites.
One of my favorites, and he was out yesterday, and he brought me his latest artwork. Now, Lynette,
yes.
Those items that you see right there,
yes.
He actually brought those to me. He said, "Please give those to Lynette."
No,
and
really?
I'm not. Yeah, I'm being dead serious. And the Weekend crew, there's some bandanas there, but Mario was kind of, it's interesting. He was born in Mexico. Came over to the United States and is a fabulous artist. And so this is his profession. So anyway, Mario Lopez Art.
Well, it's still.
Oh, yeah. So isn't that, and this particular piece is called Chef.
Good painting, though. Good painting.
See, Chef. This is number 21 of our piece. This is such a nice one.
Danny Trejo, I'm here with my friend Mario Lopez, the real Mario Lopez. Man, I just want to thank you for the painting you just gave me.
No,
absolutely beautiful. Thank you.
No, thank you, man. Thank you.
Mario Lopez is a master, without a doubt. He's a growing sensation. His work is just unmatched at this point. I wish him the best. He's a phenomenal, true artist, and he has such passion. The new paintings are amazing. Love you, Mario.
Mario Lopez has always been a really personable person. You could really feel the personal connection that you have to the piece, and you know that Mario puts a lot of love and a lot of thought into what he's representing with his work. Most of his work is cultural based, so I think he takes that responsibility very seriously. He tries to represent the culture in a very proud way, and we love seeing his work. I own some of his pieces. I know many friends that have his pieces. Some of his pieces have been really large and started very large, so I'm glad that now in the last recent years he's created smaller pieces to make it more accessible to the community. And we sell out of his prints all the time. So he always has prints available because you might not be able to afford, the $3,000 painting, or because he works in such great big pieces, you might not have room in your home.
Art means self-expression, in your probably your most free or freedom stage of life, really, because you're able to create something that you don't know if somebody's gonna like it, but you create it anyway, and you just put it out there. Some might say that's an act of God, to be able to create something from scratch and then get paid for it. And I'm walking around and they're handing me shots of mezcal and all this other stuff to try, and like boom, 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 and I'm standing next to a piece while they're handing me a shot, and I'm like, man, who did this? There's a guy standing there, he goes, I did. Yo, man, that's dope as fuck, And I go, what's your name, bro? He's like, Mario Lopez. You know the story, you start laughing right away. I'm like, Mario Lopez, the actor? You ain't the actor, bro. Stop it. He goes, no, not that Mario Lopez, the other Mario Lopez. And that's how we met, man. And then, we've built a great friendship since then.
Yo, what up? It's your man, Mellow Man Ace, El Padrino, shout out to my man, my boy, Mario Lopez, right here, man, at Tatuaje. We chillin'. Salud.
Peace.
The way Mario has inspired me is to actually
go a little bit deeper into a culture and show more of the roots from some of the art from, from where we come from, being like the charro and the mariachi type of look that he has. We were always very traditional, very United States or very like Cali type of look, but incorporating some of his artwork has definitely inspired us to go, go a little bit outside of that realm and go maybe even a little deeper.
Mario at a New Year's Eve party. We met a friend of ours, Oscar Martinez. He invited us to come over for a New Year's party, and we saw, that's where we met Mario. And sure enough, when we established Mr. Sandwich, we had this vision where we want to put a sandwich to a famous person or an actor or a musician and so forth. So we were able to work together and create all these artworks for us, naming them after a sandwich.
Mario is a great person. From the short time that I've known him, he's a very humble person. He definitely likes giving back to his community. As Cesar had mentioned, we took a chance with him having some his artwork here. We started with one logo, one painting, and evolved to several paintings. Other owners, business owners here in the area have come in and saw his work, and he's been able to give back. Not as an artist, but as an individual. And I think that's something that we admire about him. He's very detailed, he's very professional, and very patient with his work. Often he'll put himself on the time lapse so people could see his work and define what he is doing. But he's just an individual that gives it 110%. He's very humble, and he loves what he's doing. And that's very important for anyone.
One word from him, from me to kind of illustrate who Mario is. He's very down to earth. I mean, that's pretty much what he is. Very, very caring. He's someone that's always looking out for what's the best interests of that individual, if it's personal or even as a business. But he's a very down to earth guy, and I love his character. I mean, he's really well known, and he's really well liked by others.
Stories with Mario is, like I said, we grew up in the 90s, right, at the same time. And so back then it was all about the barbed wire tattoos. And I got two of them, one that I designed myself, one that I kind of, picked up on some pictures that I found. And so I told Mario about it. I showed him, and I told him that I actually designed this one myself, doodling in class. He says, "Oh, I could tell." Right? And so then when I showed him the second one, he looked at me and he said, "Oh, you didn't learn your lesson the first time." I had known this guy literally less than a week when he told me that. So that's just Mario. At home, we have a little bit of a Airbnb thing going on. And so he did a mural for me there that says, "Mi casa es su casa."
Ever since I was a kid growing up, I loved him as A.C. Slater. And the artist in Whittier mural. Oh, that Mario, yeah, he's a great guy. It wasn't until coming to his actual studio and seeing his work that I realized, oh shit, he's a real artist, and not just like, you know, he's dabbles with some tattoos, but his paint work with the oil paints and all that is just phenomenal. The value he brings to the art community, or and to people that just appreciate art, is that down to earth feeling that you get when you look at his artwork. It's you know, you go to the museums, you see your Picassos, you see your Rembrandts, and they're great and they're beautiful, and you know, I appreciate them for what they are. But this is something that speaks to me on my level, with my background, and it's an honest voice. It's something that's just honest, and I think that's what it brings, a lot of honesty. I mean, there's no one particular story. Just ever since I had a friendship with Mario and got to meet him, he's been a stand-up guy. He's helped me with a few of my films. He's helped me with artwork, not just with stuff for the city, but on personal projects I've worked on. You know, everything from just sketching to, you know, even his advice. You know, because I'd run things by him as an artist on stories and whatnot, and you know, he has a really good head on his shoulders. He's real creative, and he sees things at a different angle that other people don't see things. And that's why I appreciate him. You know, we smoke cigars together. Overall, he's really enjoyable to hang out with. From the little bit of time that I've known him, I noticed that he keeps moving up, and people are starting to recognize his work, and especially him, and that's important. So just keep doing what you're doing is the only thing I would have to say to him.
Publish a newspaper called Brooklyn and Boyle that I've done every month or every 2 months whenever I have enough money to get it printed. And I met Mario at an art opening somewhere, and I saw his work and I fell in love with it, and asked if we could put that painting there on the front page, and because it's a figure of the Azteca. But you know, Mario's got the love for comic art that I've always had myself. You know, I'm Marvel, not DC. No, I'm excited about Mario's work, and I'm excited about this new series of medieval paintings, because that's part of our history too. Mario, beyond the sincerity that it is so true and real, is this earnestness about him that if he says, I know you don't have a car, but I can help you on this day. I've got tattoos to make on this day and this day, but you know, we can go pick up the newspaper. So he would literally drive to my house in Monterey Park, and then from there to Gardena to pick up 5,000 copies of Brooklyn and Boyle, and then help me distribute them. You know, and in exchange, he might meet some people at an art museum somewhere, and they get to see him, know about his work, and I don't have any problem shouting it from the rooftops, or you know, this is Mario Lopez, and he's badass. His work is good. It's got, and I don't know if you could even necessarily. I think maybe doing these medieval paintings is another way to say, look, you know, we don't necessarily have to box ourselves into a certain kind of community, or you know, art is art. I mean, I seriously think Mario should have a graphic novel from at least 10 of the paintings that are in this room. That, you know, and particularly the one that was on the cover, where he's a angry Azteca with vengeance and blood on his mind, because he's also a hero, and he fights for truth and justice. I was particularly proud because I wanted to say, this is the guy who did my cover, and I was using that as a way to get some love for him, but you know, and introduce him to people who might be in a better position to put his work in a bigger show, something that I wouldn't have the resources or the chutzpah to do. But I like that Mario is a human being first and an artist second. And I've seen the way that he interacts so humbly with his wife, and you know, it's more about like the communication that's going on as opposed to his name on the bottom of a painting, and you know, or an ego as much. I think he just has a need that's irrepressible to create and tap into that energy that some people might consider, you know, your inner child, or you know, sometimes, you know, let that kid out and to play once in a while, and love him or her. That, you know, just because we had a rough childhood doesn't necessarily mean we're gonna be terrible grown-ups.
Here's what's happening in the community. The uptown area of Whittier is getting an artsy makeover. The first of several planned murals have just been unveiled at the Collab, which stands for Collaborative Co-working Hub. Artist Mario Lopez created the mural, which pays homage to chefs. The nonprofit group Friends of Uptown plans to put up more murals to help beautify the area and to promote local businesses.
Well, Mario Lopez has so many great stories here at Casita del Pueblo. I mean, he has not only given us great shows, and by representing his artwork and sharing his artwork here with the community, he's had wonderful sales and successful sales and great business triumphs here at Casita del Pueblo. But he's also been there to help us out whenever we need anything. Casita del Pueblo not only just does the art shows and we serve as a store, we have really become now a brand in our community and in Southern California, producing one of the largest Dia de los Muertos events here in Uptown Whittier. And Mario has always lent a helping hand to that. He not only has helped with setup or with advertising or, you know, just recruiting other artists or vendors to come to our event, but he's always willing to help. You know, he's done backdrops for us, he's designed flyers for us, he's designed shirts for the, you know, different purposes. And he's always willing to include Casita in all of his success. And when Casita has an event, he's always the first one to ask, how can I help? Not just how can I get involved and make a profit off of this event for myself, you know, or how can I expose my art? He's always the first one to ask, you know, how can I help you? And so I really value that in his professionalism, and also it's become a friendship with him, which is great. I know I can always rely on him, which is wonderful. But one of the most distinctive things for me that stands out with Mario is his connection to my son. So, sorry. Sorry, I have to stop.
Okay, take your time.
Sorry, I can't believe I'm getting emotional. I hope we can not do this. Okay, so so one of the great memories that I have with Mario has been his connection with my son. When we found out that my son was on the spectrum and had autism, Mario was just like, wow, you know, like he has gift, you know, not in shock. And I think a lot of our community, the Latino community, we don't understand too much about autism. So sometimes it's a little bit of a surprise, and it becomes a little bit shocking because we don't know that much knowledge about it. So it's concerning, and people are curious, but they don't know how to ask you how you're doing or what's going on with your son. And Mario was just so welcoming and understanding of just letting us talk to him, me and my husband, and wanting to know more about what's going on with Joaquin. But the first thing that he said to me is like, you know, he's gifted, right? And that for me, like, was like, yes, I do. I know he's gifted. So for me, it was really amazing that I had a friend, another person that was in my business of art that understood what was going on with my son. So he's definitely always been very open to my son and really about sharing things with him and also including him in things. So it's a great thing. Like, I really love to see that connection that they have together, because and I think just Mario has that gift in general. He's just a really cool person to know, and he gives so much of his heart. He really is a person that, you know, shares who he is as a person, and gives a lot of who he is. So when he speaks to my son or has moments with my son remembers those all the time, and he really has an impactful relationship with my son. So that's a great thing. If I can describe Mario Lopez in one word, it would be impactful. I feel that he not only shares a lot of who he is through his art, but just in general, as a human being and as a person, he sprinkles a little of who he is with everyone. And you are really left with a great impression. So if it's not impactful, it would be impressionable, because you never forget Mario Lopez when you meet him. And I've been in many different circles, and he definitely has made himself in those different circles. And when I bring up his name, people know him. And he's definitely someone that you will remember just on a personal level. But once you get to know him, you never forget him. And then once you see his art, I mean, definitely you'll never forget his art.
I think the value that he brings to the world realistically is creating beauty, right, in a society that's rotten. You know what I mean? Like, you can put a piece of his anywhere in the city and it'll wake that part of that neighborhood up. That's value. You know what I mean? And I'm not just saying that because the guy's my friend, but I say that because I've seen his work. I own his work. You see what I'm saying? So there's a difference. The fact that he's my friend now is just icing on a cake. But I think the value is in the quality of his material. Look, for instance, over here. You see the ruffles on the elbow, just on the elbow of that white shirt. A lot of people don't do that, or a lot of people don't get it right. It lines up with the end of the elbow. And when you really pay attention to what he's doing, and almost all his pieces are a little bit different, but when you start paying attention to each one and the detail that he puts on certain things, it just blows you away, man. You know? If I had to tell Mario something, it'd be like a run-on sentence that would say, you know, keep doing what you're doing. You're bringing joy to a lot of people. And that day that you get to where you want to be ultimately, I hope you're still calling me. You know what I mean? To hang out, play golf, and go see the world with you, and go see what you create somewhere else. You know? And that to me would be special. You know how when somebody is in our world, in our society, and they leave, they transition to the next realm. For instance, Phife Dawg of A Tribe Called Quest. Since he left, you can honestly admit that music got shittier and worse. And I think with the absence, if they're, you know, knock on good wood, Mario's with us, but the day he's not, the world will be that much more shittier. You know what I mean? Because we would have lost a great artist.